I'm from Providence. I was born in Rhode Island, born in Providence, born in Silver Lake. Very interesting story. My mom had me when she was 15 and a half years old. My dad was 17. They're still together to this day, proud to say. How they did it, my mom had 5 kids before she was 21 years old. They didn't go on public assistance. She was a housewife, took care of the kids, so on and so forth. My father was a union truck driver. That's what he did. You know, they made it happen. They didn't go to college. They didn't get, they struggled. They struggled. But we're in a different place right now, but the struggle is different. I see that struggle as being a father with a child that goes to public schools. Things have not really changed all that much. They've gotten worse as far as I'm concerned. And in my district, the way I see it, we don't have the representation that we truly deserve. The fact of the matter is, if we had the representation that we truly deserve, I wouldn't be standing here. John wouldn't be here. There's a lot of people that wouldn't be in this room because the people that we elected would be doing their jobs that we actually elected them to do. Somebody just made a comment today. They asked me a question. A very important question. Nobody's asked me this before. He says, Richard, he says, you're running for office. He said, I got one question for you. Do you know our Constitution? I looked at him without batting an eye. I said, sadly, I don't. I know the story about our Constitution. I know how it was set up, why it was set up, but I don't know it. I don't even know our U.S. Constitution. I know John has one in his pocket. I want to get one. John, can I have yours? No. John has one in his pocket.
They'll hand them out to you.
The fact of the matter is, you know what? Tonight when I get home, first thing I'm going to do is get on my computer. I'm going to read our state constitution. Thank you very much. I have our Constitution, the United States Constitution. So I'm in good company now. So anyway, the reason I'm running is very simple. I have a vested interest in our state. I have a vested interest in our community. My son, like I said, goes to public school. I see our state just continuing to spiral and spiral out of control. We have public servants. We don't have kings and queens and princes. We have public servants. I want to be a public servant. I want to do the right thing. Some people laugh at my style, because I shoot from the hip, and I treat this no differently as if we were sitting at a dinner table right now talking about the issues. Some things can be off the cuff, and some people say, well, that's a little crude, and it's not. Well, if the word getting the shaft is crude, well, too bad. That's what we get on a continuous basis. But that's why I've always made this commitment not to bash my opponent or talk about him because, it's not about him. It's about you. And it's about my race. But the fact of the matter is, David Siegel is my opponent. David Siegel, you already know. What pocket is he in? He's in the union's pocket. The union has strings on this man. His predecessor, Paulie Mora, works for the laborers union at $170,000 a year. Ridiculous. So by the way, I promise, I pledge not to take a dime from any union in our state or outside of our state, period. They're ruining our state. They're ruining our schools. Binding arbitration needs to go. It's going to cripple our state financially. It's going to cripple towns. Maybe we can't have it. It's all about those unions. No, I don't want a dime. Thank you. Yeah. And that's basically how I started. Public servants. As simple as that. You have the power. You've always had the power. The whole state has had the power. I think, hopefully, I'm saying think, hopefully the state has finally gotten the message. We're talking voters. To finally do something. To finally say, you know what? My vote does matter. How many times I heard people say, the last election I had, in '08, I had more people come out of their homes on that Saturday when I had to reluctantly, with my son, take my signs off of every single lawn in East Providence. That's not an exaggeration. The votes weren't there though, and these people came out of their houses apologetic. I am so sorry. I didn't vote because I thought you had it. I look down my street and all I see is your signs. You know, I got that from every single street. And my answer was, do you see how important it is? Do you see how close races, and do you see how races are lost and won? This is a perfect example. You can't go on an assumption. You have to get to those polls. You have to vote. And we have to vote every single one of them out. If they've done a good job and they're actually towing the line and they're following order and they're actually a public servant, leave them alone. But you know what? A lot of them, bye, see ya. They're true public servants ready to come and serve you. That's how you do it. It's up to you. You know, what I want to see is, you know, our car tax, our property tax for cars. They're gone. I buy a car. I mean, I pay my tax on it. It's done. It's a moving vehicle. It's not planted. You know, I have a big issue with this. I've always had an issue with this. Every time I go to register that vehicle, and that tax is staring me in the face, and it's like, wait a minute, I already paid tax on this product. It's like buying a loaf of bread. I pay tax on it. Do I have to keep paying for every slice? I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's ridiculous. So I would like that, you know, to see that gone. And speaking of taxes, I'd like to see our sales tax repealed back to 5%, which again was a temporary tax. I want to see our parking lots of our retail stores jammed with Massachusetts plates for a change and Connecticut plates for a change. You know, that's what I want to see. We need to make this happen. This is how this can happen. We can really, it's a competition. This is a true competition between other states. And you know what? We've been losing this battle for far too long because we haven't been in the fight. It's time to get in the fight with these other states that we're competing with. We can win this. We can truly win this. We have every tool at our disposal. We have a beautiful port, ranked number 5 on the East Coast, deep water port. We could have distribution beyond belief coming out of Davisville and Quonset. In addition, we could actually entice a cruise ship company to come here to Rhode Island. We have a spur right there. They can get on the train. Bring you right to the new being built train station right there in Warwick. We have all the tools in Rhode Island to change this state and to make this state what it really should be, and not the laughing stock to the whole country that they see us as. Thank you. Knocking on doors in '08. Families who have children who go to East Providence High School were actually, they were giving me their list of what was sent home. Well, let me start with this one. When we were kids, what did we get when we started our first day at school? We got a little pencil box with some pens. Do you remember this? We got some pencils, the erasers, some paper, and a few other things. Those days are gone. They're sending home lists that are totaling somewhere in the neighborhood between $80 and $100. A ream of paper. Each student has to bring in a ream of paper for the copier. And it goes on, it goes on, and it goes on. Yes, these schools need to be audited. We need to know exactly where every dime is going, how much this one's getting, how much this one's getting, what contracts are being paid, who's getting these contracts, so on and so forth. Because you know what? That's a travesty. When you're already paying your property tax, and those taxes are supposed to be going towards schools and so on and so forth. Another thing, one more thing. The lottery, 1973, that lottery was supposed to go where? To school funding. What happened to that? Everything that was allocated throughout the years needs to go back to exactly where it was supposed to be allocated to. Or just wipe clean and start fresh. It's simple as that. And if they don't like it, well, they're not going to have a choice not to like it because, you know, they're not going to be in office anymore. There's going to be a whole new crew up there of public servants. to make sure this kind of thing happens. So yeah, I believe that these schools need to be audited. I believe that it has to happen, because what's happening in East Providence, Central Falls, Providence. My son goes to Hope High School in Providence. It's a mess. Enough said.